I have a former best friend. And you see, this former best friend, I say former because he still thinks that I'm his friend. But I'm not. I'm not at all. I just gave a speech at his wedding that literally ruined the wedding before they even said I do. They're not together anymore, and I think I might have gone too far, but this is all in the name of revenge. So yes, I, 27 male, just gave a revenge speech at my former best friend's wedding, and I absolutely nuked it. Let's get into this with every single update. I'm 27 and male. I just gave a revenge speech at my former best friend's wedding that destroyed his marriage before it even started. I need to know if I went too far. For context, Luke, 27 male, and I have been friends since we were literally 5 years of age. Same primary school, same secondary school, same football team. Even flatmates for 2 years after uni. Our friend group is very tight. There's 8 of us total who have been together since we were teenagers. Theo, Landon, Bryce, Ivy, Camille, Brooke even, and Sienna. We've been through everything together. Failed exams, first heartbreaks, parents' divorce, you name it. Luke was always the funny guy. You know the type. Class clown, center of attention, always has to have the last word. And look, I'll admit, he's funny, okay? The guy could make anybody laugh. But there's a difference between being funny and being mean, cruel, and Luke never learned the fine line that there was, especially with me. I'm shorter than the rest of the guys, 5'7" to their 6 foot plus, quieter, and I've always been the easy target, I guess. Luke would introduce me to girls as my little mate Damian, or tell stories about me that were just humiliating. But it was always just banter, man, or I'm joking, man. And because I'm an idiot, I let it slide for, 20 years. That's what guys do, right? We take the crap out of each other, except with Luke, it was always one-sided. I never gave it back because honestly, I'm not quick enough with comebacks and he would just turn it around on me anyways. Well, when I was 19, I met Beth, at university, now 27. She's everything I'm not, calm, confident, absolutely gorgeous. And somehow she wanted to be with me. When she met Luke, they actually got along great at first. He was dating Claire, and by then, the 4 of us would do everything together. Double dates, holidays to Spain, game nights, the works. I thought we were solid. Now, here's where I need to give you some background. My late teens and early 20s were rough. I was an absolute mess, drinking too much, getting into fights, got arrested once for punching a bouncer. Charges got dropped, but still. And I was caught with, marijuana in my car, the whole 9 yards. I'm not proud of it. Luke was there for most of it. Hell, he was usually right next to me during the worst of the worst. But I grew up, got my crap together, and got a decent job in finance. Luke knew I hadn't told Beth everything about those years yet. I told him explicitly that I wanted to tell her myself properly, when the time was right. Not over drinks with friends, not as a funny anecdote, properly. About 2 years into dating Beth, we had Luke and Claire over for dinner. Wine was flowing, everybody was relaxed, and the conversation turned to, tell your craziest story from university? Well, I tried to change the subject because I could see where this was going. Luke got this look in his eyes, when someone's about to drop a bomb and they're excited about it. He goes, oh, Damian's got the best stories. Remember when you got arrested for decking that bouncer? Beth's face, I'll never forget it, complete confusion, then looking at me, then back at Luke. But he didn't stop. Or when you got caught with a bag of, drugs. Thought you were going to prison, man. Oh, and that time you broke your nose falling off the stage at the club, trying to chat up that girl. 4 stories, back to back, each one more humiliating than the last. Details I've never told Beth. Things I was planning to tell her myself in my own way. He told them like they were the funniest thing in the world while I sat there frozen and Beth just stared at her plate. Claire laughed awkwardly, and Beth didn't say a word until they left. Then she packed a bag and went to her parents' house, and I spent the next 3 days just begging her to talk to me. When she finally did, she said one thing that hurt me. You had years to tell me, Damian, years. I told her everything after that. Every stupid thing I've done, every bad choice, every regret. I owned all of it. It took me months to rebuild that trust. Months. She almost left me for good. Oh, and Luke, he never even apologized, not once. When I confronted him, he actually laughed and said, "Man, you should have told her already. Not my fault, you were keeping secrets." I wanted to cut him off right there, but we shared too many friends, too much history, and my family loves him. His family loves me, so I swallowed it and pretended things were fine, but they weren't. That night, hurt something between us that never seemed to come back. Fast forward a year, Beth and I got engaged. My family's pretty traditional, and they offered to help pay for the wedding, but they had conditions. One of them was that Luke had to be my best man. "He's been your best friend since you were 5, my mom said. "You can't break the tradition over one mistake." Against every instinct, I agreed. But I had one rule for Luke, one specific story he could not tell during his speech. There was this, lads' holiday we went on when we were 22. It involved way too much alcohol, a few drugs, and me waking up next to, well, someone that's not my girlfriend. I'm not proud of it. Beth knew about it. I learned my lesson about keeping secrets, but my very Catholic, very traditional grandparents didn't need to know. Neither did my conservative aunts and uncles. I told Luke this explicitly, multiple times, and he promised. Looked me in the eyes and said, "Of course not, man. I would never ever do that to you." Our wedding day started perfect, beautiful weather, Beth looked incredible, and everything was going smoothly. And then came the speeches. Luke started well, some genuinely funny stories, some heartfelt moments about our friendship. People were laughing, my grandma was dabbing her eyes, and then he paused, grinned, and said, "Of course, I can't talk about all of our adventures, like that legendary lad's trip to Amsterdam where Damian met his special friend for the night." The room went silent, dead silent even. My grandma literally put down her fork mid-bite, and my grandpa's face went red, and Beth stared at the tablecloth, and her parents looked at me with this expression of complete disgust. My religious aunts started whispering to each other. Luke must have realized nobody was laughing because he tried to say that. Oh, but hey, we were all wild back then, right?" Still silent, so I stood up, walked over to him calmly, and told him to leave. Now. He tried to laugh it off like, "Come on, man," and I said, "Get out." Claire had to basically drag him out while he kept saying he was kidding. It was banter. Why was everybody being so sensitive? My grandparents left early. They were crying. Beth's parents pulled me aside later and asked if there was anything else they should know about me. The whole rest of the reception, people kept coming up to me saying variations of, "I can't believe he said that. Wow, can you believe it? What was he thinking?" The wedding was ruined. What should have been the best day of our lives became the day everyone learned about my worst moment, courtesy of my best friend. I didn't speak to Luke for over a year after that. Complete radio silence, and Beth stayed in touch with Claire, but I couldn't even hear his name without feeling sick. Our friend group was split. Theo and Landon thought I was overreacting and should get over it. It's just Luke being Luke. Ivy and Sienna said it was unforgivable. Bryce tried to stay neutral, but I could tell he thought I was being dramatic. Then about a month ago, Luke called me out of the blue. He was getting married and wanted me to be his best man. I actually laughed and said, "Are you serious?" "Come on, Damian. We've been friends for 2 decades. One bad joke doesn't erase it. Claire's fine with it. I'm fine with it. Let's move on." Well, still no apology, still no acknowledgement that he ruined my wedding, just a let's move on. I don't know why I said yes. Maybe curiosity. Maybe because I wanted to see if he would finally apologize in person. Maybe because I already knew what was going to do. See, Luke has his own secret. When he was 18, he had an affair with a married woman. She was 35. And, well, had 3 kids. And her husband was supposedly abusive, though I doubt it. When the husband found out, he confronted Luke at his work, full-on brawl in the parking lot. Luke broke the guy's orbital bone, and the husband ended up in the hospital. Luke got off with community service because the husband did throw the first punch, but it was ugly, really ugly. Claire doesn't know any of this, and Claire's family are strict Catholics. The kind who think divorce is a sin of premarital. It's a ticket to hell. Her dad's a deacon at their church, so Luke used to brag about this story all the time in our early 20s. About how crazy it was, how the woman couldn't get enough of him, how he properly had fun with her, and he thought it made him sound like the man. I thought it made him sound like a sociopath, but whatever. Last week was his wedding. The whole lead up, he acted like nothing had ever happened between us, clapping me on the back, calling me brother, saying how good it felt to have the old crew back together, and I smiled and played along, all while planning exactly what I was gonna do. The morning of his wedding, he was all smiles. Means the world that you're here, man. We're brothers, yeah. Brothers can get through anything. I smiled back, poured him champagne, watched him laugh with Claire, watched her parents beam with pride, watched our friends act like the last 2 years didn't happen. Then came time for the speeches. I stood up, tapped my glass, and started with a safe joke. Yep, about Luke always being late to the party. See, everybody laughed and Luke was relaxed and, well, but seriously, I continued. Luke's always been confident with the ladies. I'll never forget when he was 18 and had that affair with the married mother of 3. His smile disappeared instantly. She was what, man, 35? 36? Oh, and when her husband found out, well, let's just say Luke proved he could throw a punch. Hospital visit, everything. Community service, was it? The room went dead silent. Claire had gone white. Her father looked ready to stand up, and her mother had her hand over her mouth. I kept going, calm and steady. But hey, we all have our wild years, right? Things we're not proud of, like Luke always says it's just banter, although some things, once you say them out loud, you can't take back. I sat down, and nobody clapped for my speech. Luke didn't even move a muscle for a full minute. Then he stood up and walked out, just walked straight out of his own wedding reception. Later that night, I found Claire crying outside. I did apologize to her, and she looked at me and said quietly, "You could have told me privately." "He could have kept his mouth shut publicly," I replied. Well, she nodded once, then said, "Then I guess you're both even now and both alone." Well, she was right. Beth's barely talking to me since, and she says I've become exactly what I hated about Luke. Most of our friends think I went nuclear over a joke, and Theo called me a vindictive jerk. Even Ivy, who was on my side before, says I went too far. But here's the thing. Luke humiliated me at the most important day of my life, in front of my family, my grandparents, everyone I care about. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he did it, anyways, for a laugh, so I returned the favor. Am I the a-hole for giving him exactly what he gave me? Update number 1, posted 3 days after the original. Well, this blew up. Currently sitting at the desk in the morning, reading through literally thousands of comments while Beth sleeps in the guest room for the 4th night in a row. First to everyone saying this is fake. Oh, I wish. I wish I was creative enough to make this up instead of actually living through it. The responses are pretty split. About half of you think I'm completely justified. I guess play stupid games, win stupid prizes type thing. It seems to be the favorite phase. And half think that I'm just as bad as Luke or worse. There's a small third group suggesting we both should go and get help, which, well, okay. Some clarifications people have asked for. Yes, Luke knew exactly what he was doing at my wedding. Several people who were there have confirmed he was sober, and he'd actually practiced that line beforehand. Theo let slip that Luke thought it would be legendary and everybody would laugh. No, Claire and Luke are not getting divorced. Not yet. She's staying with her parents, but they're apparently in couples counseling, and Luke's been telling everyone I misrepresented what he said. The story was not how I said it, and that it was consensual and legal, so what's the big deal? Classy. Yes, my grandparents are still not talking to me, and my grandma sent back the birthday card I sent her. That one hurt. To everyone asking why I stayed friends with them for so long, have you ever had a friendship that started when you were 5? It's not just a friendship, it's, well, part of your identity. Damian and Luke. That's who we were for 2 decades. Every memory from childhood was him in it. Every milestone, every mess up, every celebration, you don't just cut that off easily even when it goes toxic. Okay, now for the actual update, right? The fallout. It's been worse than I expected. Our friend group has completely imploded. There was a massive argument in our group chat where Landon called me a sociopath piece of crap, and Sienna called Luke a narcissistic bully who finally got what he deserved. Bryce left the chat, and Theo's trying to organize a mediation that nobody wants to attend. It's a proper mess. Beth and I had a long conversation last night. She asked me if it felt good with what I did. The honest answer, in the moment, yes. Watching his face fall, watching him realize how it felt to be humiliated in front of everyone you care about. It's justice. But now, I don't know. I see Claire's face when I close my eyes, and she didn't deserve that. Beth then asked me something that's been haunting me. What's the difference between you and Luke? I said he did it first. She said, so you admit you're the same as him now, just with better justification? Well, that stung because she's right. I became exactly what I hated about him. I humiliated someone at their wedding for my own satisfaction. The only difference is I did it for revenge instead of a laugh. Luke's been texting me, not apologizing, of course, threats mostly, saying I ruined his life and that Claire might leave him, that her family is reconsidering their support for the marriage. One text just said, I hope you're happy. Well, you know what? I'm not. That's the thing everyone is warning me about revenge, and they're right. It doesn't feel as good as you think it does. It feels empty. I thought I would get closure or peace or something, but I just feel tired. My therapist, yes, I've started seeing one, says I was carrying 20 years of resentment that I never properly addressed. That Luke's behavior at my wedding was just the final straw on top of decades of feeling belittled and disrespected. She's probably right, but it doesn't change what I did. So, some of you asked what I was planning to say in my original best man speech for Luke. Honestly, I'd written something genuine about how we've been through everything together, how he'd always been there even though we were both idiots. How I hoped Claire brought out the best in him, and I even had a joke about him finally finding someone who could tolerate his terrible taste in music. It was sitting in my jacket pocket during the revenge speech, and I threw it away after. For those saying I should have just declined to be his best man, you are right. That would have been the adult thing to do, but I wanted him to hurt like I hurt. I wanted him to understand what it felt like to have your special day ruined by someone you trusted, and I succeeded. But winning this game just means we both lost. Beth's giving me an ultimatum. See, it's, I need to genuinely apologize to Claire and try to make this right, or she needs to reconsider the relationship with me. She says she can't be with someone who could be the calculatingly cruel person that I seem to be, even if it was justified. She's also suggesting we do some sort of couples counseling, and by the way, I don't believe in therapy. To work through the whole situation, I'm going to apologize to Claire, not to Luke though, forget him. He still hasn't apologized to me. But Claire didn't deserve to be collateral damage in our 20-year toxic friendship. And as for whether I regret it, I don't know. Ask me in a year. Right now, I just don't know what to think. Final updates. Hey guys, it's been a week. I need to move on, and writing about it keeps me stuck in this loop of justifying and regretting and justifying again, so this is just the final update. I met with Claire yesterday. Coffee shop, neutral ground, I say. She looked exhausted, about 5 years aged in 2 weeks. I apologized properly. No justification, no, but he started it. No, I'm just sorry I hurt you. No, I said real sorry. I'm sorry I hurt you. Humiliated you on what should have been your happiest day. You didn't deserve it. Well, she listened, then said something that's going to stick with me. You and Luke deserve each other. You're both so caught up in your own pain that you can't see how you hurt everyone else around you. Well, she's staying with Luke. They're working through it, apparently, but she knows everything now. Not just the affair, but all of it. The way that he's treated me, the way he talks about people behind their back, the casual cruelty he masks as humor. She says she's going in with her eyes open now, which is more than she should have done before. I guess that's something. She also said Luke's been different since the wedding, quieter. He's not making jokes at anyone's expense anymore. Apparently, he just sits there doing these social situations, contributing nothing, like he's afraid to speak. Claire thinks I broke something in him. Well, good, was my first thought. But then I saw her face when she said it, and I felt like, oh, crap all over again. Our friend group is done. Completely fractured. Theo and Landon are Team Luke. Sienna and Ivy are Team, you're both awful, but Luke had it coming. And everyone else has just distanced themselves from the whole shebang. 20 years of friendship dead, because neither of us could be the big person. So, Beth and I are trying. Counseling twice a week. She says she still loves me but doesn't like who I become. Doesn't trust that the person who could plan something that cruel for weeks, smile in Luke's face and execute it perfectly isn't the real me. I don't know how to prove that is not, because for those weeks it was. The therapist asked me what I gained from the revenge. This is the only thing I told him. Nothing, okay, lady? Luke hasn't apologized, he hasn't learned anything except to be quieter, and I did not get my friendship back on a peace of mind. I just got the momentary satisfaction of watching him feel what I felt and then immediate emptiness. Someone in the comments on my last post said, "The best revenge is living well." I should have listened to that advice 2 years ago. Should have just cut Luke out after my wedding, moved on, built a life without him. Instead, I let him pull me down to his level, and now we're both covered in mud. My grandparents still won't talk to me, and that's maybe the worst of it. You know, they're in their 80s, and I ruined one of their last chances to see me get married, happy, and whole. All because Luke thought it would be funny to humiliate me and I couldn't let it go. There's no satisfying conclusion here. No moment where Luke and I reconcile, nothing. Well, we're two guys who used to be best friends, who are now strangers, who know all of each other's worst secrets. We're both married to women who will never truly trust us again. We both lost our entire friend group, and, well, we're even, I guess. If that even matters. So Luke sent me one last text after Claire told him about our meeting. He said, "I wish we never met." Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. So that's it. That's the end. Don't blow up your life for revenge, guys. It's just not worth it. Even when it's justified, and even when they deserve it, it's not worth becoming someone you don't recognize. Learn from my mistake and be better than Luke. Be better than me. I'm done. Alright guys, what a story. I want to read some comments about today's revenge post, and just let me know in the comment section down below if you guys enjoy these revenge stories on this channel. I'm going to try to post a revenge story every single day on this channel. The only two channels that I post stories on is Mr. Reddito's Revenge, which is the channel you're on now, and Mr. Reddito. You can find it down below, both of my channels in this description. But let's get into the comment section on today's revenge story. The first comment is against OP. It says, "You're the a-hole, and I can't believe people are defending you. Luke made a drunken joke at your wedding, but you spent weeks calculating the perfect way to destroy his marriage. You're not the hero to this story, you're a psychopath who held on to resentment for years instead of just cutting it off like an adult. That's what I would have done. Your wife is right to reconsider the relationship because you've shown you're capable of smiling in someone's face while planning ultimate destruction. Well, Claire was an innocent victim in your sick revenge story, your little fantasy, and her pain is entirely on your back, not Luke. You had every opportunity to be the big person, to just say no, not to being the best man, but instead you chose to stoop even lower than him. The fact that you felt satisfaction watching him crumble, well, that tells me everything I need to know about your character. You didn't just get justice, you became the villain." Guys, do you think OP became the villain in this? Let me know in the comment section down below. And comment number 2, which supports OP, says, "Not the a-hole at all." Anyone saying you're the a-hole, well, they've never dealt with a narcissistic bully like Luke. 2 decades of being the punching bag, explicitly telling him not to share these stories, and he did anyways because he thought your humiliation was funny. I mean, come on. He didn't make one mistake. He made calculated choices to tear you down at every opportunity, including your wedding day. You tried to take the high road for an entire year, gave him a chance to apologize, and he still called it banter, and asked you to be his best man like nothing happened. Luke messed around for 2 decades and finally found out the action that he did has a consequence, and Claire deserved to know who she was marrying. Honestly, you did her a favor by exposing the truth, the red flags. You helped her dodge a bullet, even if the delivery was what I would consider harsh. Sometimes the only way to deal with a bully is to speak their language, and you spoke it fluently. Luke created the situation with 2 decades worth of cruelty, and in my opinion, you just ended it. Good luck, OP, not the a-hole. So guys, that's the 2 comments from today's revenge story. Let me know if you've ever had your own revenge in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another fresh revenge story. Alright guys, have a good day, and of course remember, even though this is my revenge channel, it's still cool to be kind. Peace.